Hello everyone. Today the video is about fasting. There is a lot of rumor about fasting recently because everybody is fasting here, fasting there, but actually this is something that exists since ever, absolutely long time ago. And what's interesting about the modern fasting is there are many voices. Some are maybe too scientific and then not very well received. And two others are too light. Let's say too light. Okay, so fasting. First of all, this is not a diet. Again, fasting is not a diet. Okay? So diet intended in the modern way, so restrictions of calories. If you do a restriction of calories and you do fast along, it's perfectly okay. But basically this is an eating behavior. Okay? This is something you can carry on all life long because it's an eating behavior and it's not a diet. Diet generally is not sustainable for a long time. This is quite important. What the fasting does actually is not a diet. So what's going on, how it works? This is quite interesting because it is a body systems rebalancing. We are not talking about let in less food and move yourself more. Okay, so less food, move more. No, we are working on rebalancing systems during fasting, which is totally different actually. Regarding fat loss, because of course this is a almost worldwide emergency. Big people. I'm quite big. Not that big. I was big, okay? But thank you, the fasting. All right, for fat loss, the balancing is about insulin and glucagon. These are two hormones and they work one against the other. Insulin brings nutrition to the cells, energy to the cells. Glucagon takes it away, one in, the other out. Rebalancing, because actually we have a huge amount of insulin circulating in our bloodstream. And where there is more insulin, there is no glucagon. What does it mean? That means that always the insulin is carrying energy to the cells and no one taking it away. Other benefits. No, and I remark this in red, no insulin resistance. What does it mean? When we eat constantly during the day, our insulin levels are always high. And we see when we have high insulin levels, we don't have enough glucagon to balance. So, eating 6 meals a day is not exactly a good suggestion if you want to lose fat. If you want to build up muscles, that's just another chapter of the story. But to lose fat, insulin should be kept at bay, low level, and more. Immune system reboot and retargeting. What does it mean? Our immune system is always at work. When we eat any food, the immune system scans. It's like going now in an airport. Immune system, you have to go, all the foods needs to go through the gate and it's checked. Because we don't eat real food, mostly. Okay? We eat, well, you know what we eat, okay? There's no point to, at this stage, is no point to check and one by one. Okay, the immune system needs to be retargeted. The immune system needs to work against the real invaders. Okay. Then, if we retarget the immune system, intended that the immune system doesn't waste a lot of energy in scanning, just scanning and deal with intruders, it is absolutely rebooted and it works properly against the common flu, cold, food poisoning. Why all this rocketing rise of the food poisoning? Because our immune system is not able to deal. It's super busy dealing with rubbish. Okay? More. Human growth hormone release overnight. If you have a rebalancing of the immune system, the system is not under stress. When the system is under stress, there is a release of cortisol. Cortisol works against human growth hormone. Cortisol is the hormone of the morning, when you need to be ready and go, fight or flight. Human growth hormone, instead, is released overnight when you sleep in order to grow and fix and repair. Another nice benefit, and now we can talk about the history of fasting. Well, we know that fasting is present in almost all the religions, so that means it's present since a long time ago. And more than the 3 religions as we know now, modern day, even the pharaohs and before used to do fasting. Of course, when we read in the books that Buddha or Jesus or Muhammad, they went to meditate and to fast, they for sure they were not worried about fat loss at that time. But fasting, the system is rebalanced and there is more energy directed more energy directed to the brain. That means your brain works better. How do the Tibetan monks reach the nirvana? Meditating. When you meditate, you don't focus on food. We are absolutely driven to think about food all time. Okay? So, more energy directed, to the brain. Last but not least, already mentioned, better detoxification. All the system is cleared, all the system is lighter. That's the reason why we can detox better. That's the reason why detox and, where is that now? An immune system, they work together. Detox means the immune system scans, say, okay, this is not good for me, go away. Detox. It's not very simple to condensate all the beauty and the science behind fasting. Last things to say, there are more than one kind of fasting, actually, basically 2. fasting 1 day in, 1 day out, or fasting for a period time in the day. The last one is quite practical actually, because you eat the first meal of the day later than breakfast. So you prolong the time where insulin is not released and glucagon is taking the energy out from the fat cells. This is the reason why it works for fat loss. Because you don't have the energy, because you don't have much insulin around in your system, in the blood system, and then you don't have food, basically, then food, energy, insulin, cells, but the system needs to go on. So the glucagon instead brings the energy out of the fat cell. Sorry for being so basic with this, okay? And this is the good of the fat loss effect of the fasting. So, fasting 1 day in, 1 day out actually needs a nice willpower, okay? Personally, now, tomorrow is gonna be 6 months. I'm doing intermittent fasting. So, my first meal of the day is after my workout. So that means in early afternoon. Then my last and the biggest meal is the dinner. And after 9-ish, maybe after 8-ish p.m., 9 p.m., I don't eat anymore till the day after, early afternoon. And I'm full of energy. I'm not weak at the gym. I go to the gym every day at lunch break. So it's starvation, forget about. So this is, starvation is another interesting thing we should talk about. But anyway, at the moment we are talking about fasting. Recap. Not a diet, eating behaviors. It works, rebalancing body systems, okay? For fat loss, the balance is about insulin and glucagon, bringing energy to the cells, taking out energy from the cells. So, no insulin resistance or resistance for the fact that we don't eat continuously, so we don't need insulin to bring energy to the cells. We have a evident immune system reboot and retargeting. The immune system doesn't need to deal constantly with the food, just to scan if it's safe or not. Human growth hormone release overnight has told. The human growth hormone is released to fix and repair and growth, of course. And it contrasts the cortisol, which is instead the hormone of the early morning when you get up out of the bed and start your day. So you need the stress, the good stress of the start of the day. But if the system is continually stressed, we have more cortisol than human growth hormone. One more. The energy not used for the system imbalance is used to the brain. That means your brain is clearer. You think better. Last but not least, better detox. Of course. Immune system working better, better detox. Okay? The topic is huge, is massive. If you have more questions, don't hesitate, send me a mail or put a comment down there. Okay? If you like the video, of course, thumbs up, subscribe. The positive and the negative, of course, is welcome. Thank you very much now. See you to the next video.